I'm going to move on
Somehow
to
he totally
Anarchy
messed that up.
in the arena from that same night when we just read the result that the Elite won, the bad guys.
Yeah.
It was some kind of chaos melee that happened all over the arena, which I don't really care
Sure.
about. But
No, who cares? They've done it 100 times.
I mean, we could just a couple spots that we could mention that are pretty outrageous. Was Jack Perry going into the ice bath? I thought was
He
a
was
pretty
trying
cool
to drown.
spot.
He was trying to drown him. Good.
That is pretty funny. You gotta admit, people hate Jack Perry. And then Jack Perry proceeds to run him over, but they didn't really show it. They didn't really show that Darby was, under that pile of rubble that Jack
You're so stupid. My God, man.
Jack Perry is unconscious at the wheel.
Good,
I'm sorry, for the audio listeners, we have to describe what's happening on the screen for anybody listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. But yes, Jack Perry is unconscious at the wheel after. This would be cool, though, if this was good characters, right? And a good angle. Like, if this was Stone Cold and Triple H and this happened in the main event, this would be wild as fuck. But since it's like Jack Perry, I mean, Darby I respect, but Jack Perry and the Young Bucks and the Elite we've talked about on this show have kind of killed this. Maybe the Young Bucks have. Is Jack Perry? Are you lumping in Jack Perry with the Elite, Vlad, in this angle, or is Jack Perry as bad as the Elite, or no?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Because he's kind of he's probably, I think he might even be dumber than they are. Some of the stuff that he wants to do and actually ended up doing and now is allowed to do, which we're going towards, I don't want to give it away to our, our viewers that are going to be watching as we're going, but, we all know what he does later on in this match. So, yes, he's just as bad, if not worse.
Robert, do you lump in Jack Perry with the Elite? I mean, I feel like you've been kind of a fan of Jack Perry.
I kind of like his heel character. Well, and we're not at Dynamite yet, but his Dynamite promo is decent, I would say. So I don't hate him. I'm not a huge fan of his, but this is a lot more interesting than when he was still Jungle Boy.
Yeah, that's true.
I like him a lot more now as Jack Perry than when he was still Jungle Boy.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Vlad, you see, I got to go along with that. Definitely an improvement over Jungle Boy.
Okay,
anyway, Vlad.
That's a small thing. That's a really small thing.
Okay. But also, I wouldn't say he's as bad as the Young Bucks. I just wouldn't say he's that level. But Vlad, can you get in frame for the YouTube viewers? They need to see your face. That Vlad face. All right, let me move on to the rest of this Anarchy in the Arena match, just to show the high spot that everyone was talking about after the show. Here comes Darby back into the ring after getting ran over, squished. He's back. He's back a few minutes later, like 3 minutes later. Here's Jack Perry. Oh, this part, he grabs Tony Khan at the gorilla position. I forgot about this. But Tony Khan, who feared for his life when CM Punk was lunging towards him, now Jack Perry actually grabs him and is doing violence.
He's going to get fired now.
Here comes
Someone got fired.
Well, here comes Jack Perry into the arena with Tony Khan, and Darby Allin proceeds to light Jack Perry on fire. And this was the big spot that was everywhere on YouTube, on all the thumbnails after the show. It was like Jack Perry lit on fire. I mean, it's pretty momentous for wrestling, I think. It's a pretty cool spot.
Yeah, I agree.
So wait, you're telling me this guy is not dumber than he's not supposed to be lumped in with the Young Bucks after it's being set on fucking fire?
Hey, if one of the Young Bucks took this getting set on fire spot, I might think a little differently about them. All right, but I'd be thinking about it differently too. But these Jack Perry's the
shot.
He's the one who took it. Jack Perry is the one who actually took it.
He's the scapegoat.
You gotta give him something for that.
That's what it smelled like. It was burned goat. That's what it was.
Oh no, that was like a Robert joke. All right, let me move on to.
Well, Robert's a great comedian.
Let me move on to the rest of the match, and Okada brings out the Young Bucks Reebok sneakers, but they've got nails on the bottom of them, and I think they super kick Darby Allin, who's hanged upside down in the middle of the ring somehow.
How did that happen? How did he end up? I didn't watch the match, so I don't even know how.
You didn't watch this match? Oh, I thought you went back and watched. Yeah, they obviously.
No, I didn't watch any of it.
They obviously hung him up there. Jesus, how do you think, Robert?
Well,
and
okay.
And Danielson
what are you
tries to
talking
come
about,
in.
This is something that happens all the time.
Right, okay.
How did they? It's a great question. Well, how? Why? What the fuck is happening? This is all great questions, Robert's asking. Kayla's like, this is nothing to see here. It's all normal. Guy's fucking hanging 15 feet from the ring, and Kayla's like, nothing to see here.
It is. Look, so in the end, Danielson tries to come help Darby, and he gets hit by Jack Perry with his own move, the running knee, and that's how the Elite win. And then Nick Jackson is celebrating.
So the guy, I have
to All right, Vlad, I'm sorry. So you want to know how he got up there. All right, I'll rewind it. They had a thing hanging from the rafters that came all the way down, and then they tied Darby Allin's feet to it somehow. So, and then they lifted it up. I guess somebody was working that machine.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Oh, there. Okay, so it got lowered down.
Yeah, it got lowered down, and then they tied it to Darby's legs, and then they lifted him up like that. It was a cool. But anyways, okay. There was some crazy psycho spots here. I mean, I guess we just got to give comments. Let's start with Robert, I guess, from what you're seeing. Any comments?
I don't know, man. These are just the highlights I'm seeing right now, but it's hilarious. I actually think it's kind of comedic.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it was kind of worthy of being the main event, in my opinion, with all this craziness. I was like, why is this the main event? But I guess they did pull out some stops, if you know what I mean. As I'm skipping through this match, you guys are getting some imagery of it for the YouTube viewers who have some video in the corner. Zoom in if you want to watch it bigger, by the way.
Yeah, zoom in and stop complaining.
Stop complaining in the comments. Just zoom in with your fingers like that. Like that. Anyway, so the Elite win. Vlad, any comments? You got to rail on AEW a little bit more, right? This is your chance.
Okay, I don't want to, beat another, dead horse type situation, but come on, dude. What the hell is this? This is such an embarrassment. The guy that was set on fire is the guy that wins the match. I mean, what are we doing?
That's true. I forgot about that. He sure recovered pretty quickly from that.
Yeah, I mean, it was just crazy. It was ridiculous. It was so stupid. It was embarrassing. It was, like I said, when you go to AEW, the thing is, there's a whole bunch of, there's freedom, and a lot of wrestlers love that. You could do stupid stuff like this. But in reality, it's not as what it's, for the business, for the sake of the wrestling business. Some guys need to be produced. Some guys need to be told what to do. Some guys need to be told no on certain things. And since there's none of that in AEW, nothing like that, this is the result of that. And that's really the bottom line. That's really what it comes down to. So I'm not going to really rail on it because that's what they've been doing. This is the type of stuff this is the type of wrestling that they think is good. So who am I to say it's not? I mean, for me, it's not. But for others, okay, maybe some people like it. But I think it's a disgrace. And if I was WWE, I wouldn't want this to be compared to like my programming, for sure. Like I don't want.
Wait, you got cut off there. If you were WWE, what?
I'm sorry, I wouldn't want this to be compared to my program to say like this is a wrestling promotion compared to us,
So you're saying this dirties the name of wrestling in general, like it's that bad?
Yeah, this is one of the worst. This is one of the worst promotions. I think at this point you could say that this is one of the worst promotions in the history of wrestling. Yeah,
all right, I'm gonna put on my Malapert Smark hat. Again, I don't like doing this, but I guess I have to try to figure out why this angle didn't land, because there are aspects of this here that are kind of good, right, Robert? Some of this was entertaining, but it just didn't land perfectly right. Like it didn't land like this was a historically great angle. And why is that? I think I would say it's because a lot of these wrestlers in this angle have cast themselves as someone who is just not believable, and I think that's important when you do like a really intense angle that you want people to believe in, like when you're grabbing the owner and beating him up, you want it to be believable. You don't want it to people to think like, oh, this is just fake bullshit. And the fact that the Young Bucks are in it, and Jack Perry, I guess I'll go along with you, Vlad. Like, yeah, he's trying, and it's better than his babyface stuff, but it's also just not believable. Darby, I think I could believe in. Danielson, I can believe in. But
Darby's
Tony Khan also very bad. The acting, it all just didn't seem believable. I think a lot of these crazy spots were wasted on a match like this. I think it could have been, if they used it for someone like CM Punk and MJF. Imagine if CM Punk and MJF's feud became so heated that one of them tried to run the other one over with a car. Like, that would have been good. You see, if it really got to that point where like they really fucking hated each other to the point they wanted to murder each other, like that could have been good. But since it's Jack Perry and Tony Khan and the Young Bucks, none of this matters because nobody cares. I think that's kind of the conclusion I've come to of why this angle didn't really stick. But
I agree with you on that. It's the people involved. That's the bottom line. I don't want to give another long-winded answer, but yes, I completely agree.